Hey everyone, it's me Kenji, and as a self-proclaimed Love is Blind connoisseur, I have been loving Love is Blind Sweden, specifically episode 3. And in this video, I will be breaking down and recapping everything that I just watched, as well as giving my opinions about what it is that is going on, because there's so much to unpack. So let's get started. So in my last two videos, I didn't really talk about Johan or Mira or Oscar, simply because I didn't find their storyline too entertaining. But it really did come to a climax at the beginning of episode 3, where Mira finally turns down Johan, and for the first time, I would say in Love is Blind history, if not just in Sweden, we see a man truly break down and cry. And that just serves as indication to me that Johan really did have deep feelings for Mira. So it was incredibly just jarring when he turns around and proposes to Kimia. It just didn't make sense. Well, to some degree, it actually did, because in some of the other Love is Blind seasons, we do see where someone does get turned down and then they pursue their second choice. And I would say 9 times out of 10, that never works. And so I became incredibly concerned for Kimia when she accepted Johan's proposal. And what happens next is, I would say, a really great discussion piece on what would you do? Because in this instance, we have Mira who realizes that Kimia is getting proposed to and decides to actually speak up and talk about it. Some people may argue that Mira going to talk to Kimia violated girl code, but then on the flip side, not talking to Kimia could also be a violation of girl code. I would say it was the right thing because it came from the right place. It wasn't coming from a place of competition or wanting to put Kimia down and rub it in her face that she was a second choice. If anything, it was a heads up, girl. This is that moment where I switched from Katya being my favorite to Kimia. Because like I said before, I was not checking for Kimia in episodes 1 or 2. It was a boring storyline. But to see Kimia be one of the first people in Love is Blind history make it to the big reveal, the moment when she gets to see Johan for the first time and actually turn him down. And she did it in the most graceful way possible, because she recognized that Johan wasn't in the best state of mind and that it would be doing him a disservice as well as herself. And I'm just so glad to see a woman who has that level of self-respect. In my last video, I was extremely concerned about Sergio turning into a Shake 2.0 and talking about her and not being attracted to her. And so far, I still think I'm right, but I have to tweak my theory by just a little bit, in the sense that we see in episode 3, Sergio has become a gaslighter, and he's trying to put doubts in Amanda's mind by saying that she did not show her interest or her love for Sergio because she didn't wear a bracelet. And she didn't communicate, which she obviously did, about why she couldn't wear the bracelet and why she didn't want to give him a ring. It's not that big of a deal, especially because she's Christian, he's Catholic. There's going to be some traditions that she's just going to abide by, and she explained that. So I don't see the big deal about that. As I had said before, I personally believe Sergio is not as attracted to Amanda as he leads on to be. And instead of trying to look like the bad guy and talk about her looks the entire season, instead he's going to gaslight her and make her feel as though she's not that into him, which she is, if he would just stop putting all of these doubts into her mind. And with that, I have to also say episode 3, I would like to tag as they're just not that into you, or they're just not that attracted to you, because it just seems like in this season, a lot of people are not attracted to their partners. And I remember seeing a blog post that said that this season was probably one of the most superficial seasons of the entire Love is Blind franchise. And at first, I really didn't believe it until I watched episode 3. Because we have here, in my mind, I do not think that Sergio is that into Amanda. And then we have Katya, who is definitely not attracted to Christopher. It was hilarious, that moment where Christopher said that he brought purple hair dye, and he thinks that it will be such a cute and fun way for them to bond with each other. The face that Katya makes when he says this is of pure shock and disgust. Like, she is used to jocks and athletic guys, not the type of guys that want to dye their hair in unnatural colors together. And so I feel really bad for him, especially because he seems like one of the more emotionally sensitive men of the seasons, and looks at Katya as though she is a goddess. And Katya just doesn't want to be intimate, not because she wants to take things slow, but because she's just not that into him. Now, moving on to another person who is doing the same thing is Lucas. There's a moment where Amelia talks to Lucas about how she took her clothes off while they were sleeping and how she spooned him. And Lucas acts as if he just didn't even feel that. I call lies. He totally felt that. He just is not that into her, and he doesn't want to be intimately involved with her. So once again, I feel bad for Amelia. Poor Amelia. And then we have Mira not being attracted to Oscar. It's just, it boggles my mind. I would say never in the history of Love is Blind have we seen so many couples not be attracted to each other. So I'm very intrigued about what happens in episode 4. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And with that, I'm just looking forward to episode 4. See you later, guys. Bye.